Y'all, at midnight, Melody Shari Rogers released her statement stating that she would no longer be on Love and Marriage Huntsville. After 9 seasons of sharing her life with us, she has decided to part ways with the show.
When Melody Shari decided to leave Love and Marriage Huntsville, it sent shockwaves through fans everywhere. Nobody expected it. For years, she wasn't just part of the cast. She was the heart of the entire show. Melody brought energy, honesty, and emotion that made the series what it was. Her departure didn't just leave a gap. It changed the whole balance of the show. Fans immediately started asking questions. Why would someone who had become the face of the series walk away from something she helped build? And how did Martell Holt, her ex-husband and longtime co-star, react when the news broke? Let's break it down, because this story goes deeper than what we see on screen. From the first season, Melody Shari stood out.
So whenever we tend to be rejected, you know, that hurts our soul, us emotionally. That'll make us do things that we shouldn't do, you know, once we feel that rejection. And I felt it. My ex, she felt it. And that caused us to do things that'll hurt, you know, because of that rejection. I didn't think that I would be the person to, you know, going through the divorce, breaking down and crying and stuff like that. I'd never been a person to cry. But this situation made me a little emotional and things like that, especially, you know, my kids, I love them so much.
She wasn't trying to be famous. She just showed up as her authentic self. Viewers admired how she carried herself through heartbreak, betrayal, and constant drama while still running her businesses and raising her children. She didn't pretend life was perfect, but she faced her struggles head-on. That's what made her real. Even when things around her were falling apart, she managed to stay strong and professional. Whether she was handling her music career, managing her real estate projects.
Talk about your morals or lack thereof. Let's talk about your integrity or lack thereof. Let's talk about that. Okay? Let's talk about some stuff that actually has a little bit of substance. Okay? Secondly, girl, you're talking about I filed bankruptcy. Yes, sweetie, after your boyfriend filed. After he filed. So I didn't want everything to fall on me, not because I couldn't take care of everything. So let's get the facts straight, but I'm sure you have still continued to listen to all the lies that he gave. You know what? I finally understand why you was able to be a side chick for 5 years, because you dumb.
Or co-parenting with Martell. She did it all under public scrutiny. Fans respected her because she never let the chaos consume her. But behind that strength was a woman dealing with a lot more than anyone knew. The tension between Melody and Martell didn't end their divorce. In fact, it got worse.
You should be shaking your dang on head at yourself. I ain't did. You always doing. You was doing 3 days ago in Houston. What is you blowing up and saying all these inaccuracies for to these people? You always doing that. You always doing. No, it ain't accurate. No, it's not actually accurate. You said to me that when we were married, I was going to hotels cheating on you. That's a goddamn lie.
I didn't say you wanted this.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that you was.
Yes, you did.
There's
and
a
you've said
possibility.
it multiple times.
There's a possibility, because like me.
Well, we know you was cheating.
It's okay. Okay. I'm sorry for that.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Not sorry
I knew
for
they was
cheating.
going to destroy what we had. All this. It wouldn't have been like it is.
Season after season, it seemed like Martell found new ways to provoke her, from questioning her parenting skills to spreading rumors or trying to turn other castmates against her. What fans saw on screen was only part of it. Some cast members sided with Martell, forming cliques that left Melody out. The atmosphere became toxic. Even when the cameras weren't rolling, it felt like the drama never stopped. Many fans began to suspect that the producers were encouraging the conflict because it made for good television. Every argument, every breakdown, every emotional moment brought in more viewers. Was Melody being pushed into uncomfortable situations just for ratings? It started to seem that way. Through it all, Melody tried to stay focused on her goals. She poured her energy into her businesses and her children. She released music, launched new ventures, and kept her head high even when it felt like everyone was against her. But as the seasons went on, fans noticed a change. The spark that once defined her started to fade. She wasn't as enthusiastic during filming, and her tone during interviews seemed more tired than passionate. She was showing up, but her heart wasn't in it anymore. Looking back now, it's clear her decision to leave didn't happen overnight. This was something that had been building for years. The signs were there: exhaustion, frustration, and a growing sense that she was being used more as a storyline than a person. Still, no one believed she would actually walk away, especially not in such a dramatic fashion. For months before her exit, whispers were spreading about serious behind-the-scenes issues.
From that, what I did that I
Repeatedly.
so just regret from the depths of my heart. I regret. I'm like, if I knew, now it's like it wouldn't be this way. You know what I'm saying?
You should have listened.
Martell was once again stirring up trouble, and many felt he wasn't being held accountable for his actions. Instead of facing consequences, he continued to get screen time, often at Melody's expense. Meanwhile, the relationships within the cast were shifting. People she once trusted began to distance themselves. She started to feel isolated and unsupported. The producers, focused on keeping the drama alive, didn't seem interested in giving her peace. Reality television thrives on conflict, and Melody's personal life, her marriage, divorce, and the tension that followed had become the show's biggest source of ratings. That kind of pressure can break anyone. When your real pain becomes someone else's entertainment, you eventually reach a point where you ask, is this worth it anymore? So, what finally pushed her to the edge? Was it another betrayal? A behind-the-scenes power play? Or did Martell play a role in driving her out once and for all? Whatever it was enough to make Melody say, I'm done. Melody's decision to leave wasn't just a career move. It was a statement.
A wrap for Melody Shari Rogers on Love and Marriage Huntsville. She's officially announced that she will not be returning to the reality TV series. Look, there have been a lot of signs that Melody was done with OWN, that she was done with Carlos, because she unfollowed him. She's said some things on social media, and most recently, she revealed some things about her issues with the show and how it's being produced. And someone, a producer, on her show basically wanted to be her TV manager, and when she said no, she felt as if there was retaliation.
She was done being part of a cycle that drained her. She refused to keep playing a role that brought her pain and allowed others to profit from her struggles. She was ready to reclaim her peace and her narrative. Her exit said loud and clear. She was no longer going to be the center of someone else's drama. She was ready to choose herself over the show. At first, Martell seemed calm about Melody's departure. His public reaction was surprisingly controlled. He acted as if it didn't bother him, insisting that her leaving wasn't a big deal. But anyone who's followed Martell over the years knows that when he acts unbothered, something's brewing beneath the surface. It didn't take long for his calm mask to slip. Martell's entire story arc on Love and Marriage Huntsville revolved around Melody, their marriage, their fights, their co-parenting issues, and their constant back and forth after the split. Without Melody, what storyline did he have left? His businesses weren't thriving, and his image had taken a serious hit. So was he upset about Melody leaving the show? Or was he worried about what that meant for him? Without her, would the show still work? Would he still be relevant? For years, his presence on the show depended on his conflict with Melody. Without her, there was no one to challenge him or expose his behavior. That realization hit him hard. Suddenly, the man who once tried to tear Melody down was faced with a reality where she wasn't there, and neither was his main storyline. Once Melody officially left, the producers had a serious problem. She wasn't just a popular cast member, she was the show's foundation. Viewers tuned in for her story, her strength, and her authenticity. Without her, everything changed. Now the big question became, who could possibly fill her shoes? Some thought Kimmy or Letitia might step up. They'd always been part of the drama, but never at the center of it. Maybe this was their moment to shine. But could they really carry the same emotional weight Melody did? Martell, on the other hand, might have seen this as an opportunity to make the show revolve around him. But his issue is that his identity on the show was tied to Melody's. Without her, his storyline lacks depth. Desperation can lead people to do reckless things, and fans worrying that Martell might try to manufacture new drama just to stay relevant. And then there's the bigger issue. Can love and marriage, Huntsville even survive without her? Melody was the soul of the series. She brought real emotion, real struggle, and real growth. Without her, many fans fear the show will lose what made it special in the first place. Just when people thought the situation couldn't get more complicated, a major leak surfaced online, and it changed everything. At first, everyone believed Melody chose to leave on her own terms, but leaked messages suggested something else, that she might have been pushed out. The leak hinted that producers could have played a role in her exit. Some reality shows have been known to cut ties with big stars when they start gaining too much power or control. Melody's influence on love and marriage, Huntsville, was undeniable. She had become the fan favorite, the moral compass, and the one everyone talked about. Maybe that threatened the higher-ups. There's also speculation that Martell might have had a hand in it, considering his history of trying to control Melody, both during their marriage and after. Some believe he may have quietly worked to remove her from the spotlight, and it doesn't end there. Whispers suggest that a few cast members may have known what was going on behind the scenes. If that's true, it means Melody was being slowly pushed aside for months without realizing it. The betrayal, the manipulation, the shifting alliances, it all fits together now, whether Melody left willingly or was forced out. One thing is clear, her absence has left a huge hole. Fans are questioning the show's future. Many have taken to social media saying they won't watch anymore. Comments online are filled with frustration and disappointment. One person wrote, "No Melody, no show. Simple as that." Another added, "They really tried to push her out. I'm done with this show." Even those who weren't her biggest fans admit that without her, the dynamic feels empty. Martell may think this is his chance to take the spotlight, but he might soon realize that without Melody, he's lost the person who made him relevant in the first place. So, where does Melody Shari go from here? Leaving love and marriage, Huntsville might actually be the best thing she could have done. She's already proven she can build a successful career outside the show. Between her music, her businesses, and her influence as a public figure, she doesn't need reality TV to define her. If anything, this could be the beginning of a new chapter. Maybe she focus on her music full-time. Maybe she create her own production company or even launch her own show where she has full creative control. And let's not rule out the possibility of a dramatic comeback. If she truly was forced out, there's always a chance she could return on her own terms, stronger and more independent than ever. If that happens, you can bet it won't be quiet. Now, all eyes are on what happens next for the show itself. Can it survive without the woman who helped make it a hit? Will the other cast members rise to the challenge? Or will the series lose the magic that made people tune in week after week? Reality TV is built on personalities that feel genuine, and Melody gave the show that authenticity. Without her, it risks becoming just another drama-filled series with no real heart. The producers are facing a tough decision: reinvent the show completely, or watch it fade as fans lose interest. One thing's for sure: love and marriage, Huntsville will never be the same again. Melody Shari's departure marks the end of an era. She brought truth, strength, and resilience to a show that often thrived on chaos. Her journey inspired many people, not just because of her success, but because she showed what it looks like to walk away from toxic situations. Even when the world is watching, whether she was forced out or left by choice, her decision was one of courage. And while the show might go on, it's safe to say it will never shine as brightly without her, because no matter what happens next, one thing remains true: love and marriage. Huntsville was never just a show with Melody in it. It was a show that revolved around her.